Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here today. So we've arrived at the end of another week. That's good. That's good. So all the stories and everything we heard, the rumors of our destruction, well, they haven't occurred. All right, so where are we today? Right here, 27th is the day. So we know that our sun sign is in Libra. Libra is an air sign. And our moon sign is in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. So we're dealing with the elements of air and water. So just think about in your life how air and water works together. They can work in nice harmony. You have a nice gentle breeze blowing over the water. Or the wind could blow really, really strong and that water could get spread all over the place. Kind of like in a hurricane situation. If you think of the words and the actions, words and actions are the expression or the extension of air, and emotions and feelings are the extension of water. So what you've got basically is words and actions on the conscious, and the unconscious is emotions and feelings. And so we don't want our emotions and our feelings to overwhelm our thoughts, what we do, or anything of that nature. We want to be able to have some nice synchronicity and balance with them. So those are the things we're working on today. We have a couple of signs to look at here. We have a triangle between the sun, between the moon, Cancer, and Saturn right here, which is planet of discipline. So it's a nice triangle showing that the emotions and this disciplinarian idea come together to form a nice, good aspect. And usually within that there's some sort of lesson that is learned. We learn how to discipline our emotions, kind of put them in the proper perspective so they're not running out of control. And then we also have a square down here. This is between the moon sign again, Cancer, and this sign of Uranus. Unexpected changes, and there's a square, a blockage. So sometimes later tonight, actually just past midnight, as we head into tomorrow, we've got this block, which is unexpected change and our feelings. So our feelings come up against some lesson with unexpected change. Perhaps once we get past those feelings, maybe something we learn from this experience here in the discipline aspect, that we're able to overcome some sort of situation. And that's what blocks and squares are. They're opportunity to overcome a situation so that we can learn and grow. And that's our perspective down here on Earth, to keep growing, keep learning. And so there's always lessons that come our way every single day. All right, the moon phase, we are at the third quarter, 46% of the way full, making its way down to the new moon. On the Mayan Oracle, we're at the blue rhythmic hand. Rhythmic is the sixth tone. So we got the hand, guided by the hand. Phrase for today is I organize in order to know balancing healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power doubled. Spaceweather.com, the solar wind right now is 309.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet, all quiet on the horizon here. We don't really see any major holes, but we do have something, so I don't see how they say there are no real large corona holes, because there are a couple here. And M-class flares jumped up to 5% from 1%, but geomagnetic storm activity is down pretty low, just like it was the other day. Here's the Suspicious Observers Report for today.
Good morning, folks. Two huge stories today, so let's blow through some quick updates. Drought zone continues to appear abated in the southwest with the flooding they took there the last 2 weeks. Curiosity team declares 2% water found in the Martian soil, with oxygen, CO2, and sulfur gases released by thermal induction. We've measured a ton of water from space on that planet, and we did indeed expect that news eventually. The Teleca volcano in Nicaragua erupted this morning. Pretty startling for the locals. The U.S. convergence today hopefully won't dump snow like it did last night, but we could see strong storms leading the pressure cell. Sunspots in tandem crossing the sun with the mixing up north, but it is separating as the umbras grow. He needs some luck as flares are still on the floor, and it does appear the solar wind's going to join him down there. Folks, you're seeing some of my old videos, and one from Mr. MBB333. A number of us have been tracking huge cosmic ray signatures. Sometimes I've thought they could be errors, but folks, I do not think these are errors at all. Yesterday morning, when you folks caught this immediately upon the reading popping up, we had full-scale tracking of cosmic rays all day. The readings got larger. The readings were confirmed at other stations and on other sites. Folks, this is one of the things that we've been discussing most. The cosmic rays increasing as the heliosphere, the solar magnetic shield, is fading just like Earth's. Please Google this and watch the short piece attached to another news video if you haven't seen this yet. Of course, that is an addendum to my counterstrike. The first blow came from them as a drawn-out hush-hush ratification and implementation of Agenda 21 and biased climate discourse over the last 25 years. They want to blame you for this. They are going to blame you for this. And they will use your alleged failure and inability to keep yourselves alive as excuse and requisite for taking control. Let's start with their setup for climate change mitigation. Claiming atmospheric aerosols work significantly well, and have been working. Will you vote yes on solar radiation management? I won't. How about their lies regarding energy from space, solar or cosmic? They describe the steady solar irradiance over a period of time, and as we've stated before, if you just look at the UV output of the sun, that is fairly constant. However, what's changing is Earth's magnetosphere. Kyoto claims it's been fading for 400 years, and NASA says it's 10% weaker than it was just 150 years ago. So measuring constant solar energy doesn't really help us when our shield is disappearing, which also absolutely plays a role in cosmic ray interactions on the night side of the planet. I love their explanation for a recent reduction in warming. Despite their admission of a weak solar cycle, they claim medium to low level confidences are what lets them know that the ocean absorption and other internal variability is what's caused this pause in warming. They forget that NASA, the NSO, and other prominent scientists have described a solar shutdown. We've seen it for 2 years at this channel, and the possibility for a mini ice age coming, and that's not just me saying it. This new Blame Humans report will be huge news all day, all across the internet. Most will have a comment section at the bottom of the video, and I don't suppose you have any ideas what to tell those folks to watch. How CO2 matched temperature until humans began polluting. How NASA described CO2 cooling in the thermosphere is second only to nitrous oxide cooling. How the entire system is changing, has been for decades, and how there is a non-apocalyptic but massively significant shift about to come to Earth. Coronal hole power fading in the Earth-facing position, but still moderate, and the openings are staring right at us. So far, Pakistan, Peru, and Mexico take the cake past few days. Eyes open. No fear. It's 6:35 a.m. Eastern Time, and spread the news. Our world is changing, and they want to blame you. Be safe, everyone.
All right. Well, we know better, right? We know that the world is changing, and we know that it doesn't have anything to do with us. So let the scientists think what they want to think. It's all part of their agenda and their plan to trick you, to fool you. And you're only going to get fooled if you allow yourself to be fooled. Believe it or not, there are actually people who are tired of being fooled. Maybe you haven't reached that point yet. Maybe you enjoy being lied to by your government leaders and basically any one of the leaders that are out there running the country or the countries around the world. Maybe you like that. If so, then just keep believing their lies. Just, keep believing them and see how that works for you. But for those who are understanding they don't like to be lied to, good job in standing up and taking some action against it. All right, Alex Collier. is going to be the video I'm going to play today talking about the Reptilians. And so all week long we've heard about them, so we understand where they come from. We understand, what they've been doing down here, that there's an agenda. We understand about the history of people describing things like this going on, from They Live in the movie to David Icke, Credo Mutwa, and many others. And if you go through the internet, if you want to see something interesting, just look in shape-shifting, reptilian shapeshifters, and you will find video after video of what people are claiming are these shapeshifters that are caught on camera. Now, some of them look like technical glitches, but there are some things that are, I don't think, technical glitches, because the glitches happen and you don't see them happening to the whole image. It's just the person themselves. Now, technology can certainly go ahead and manipulate things like that, so that's not necessarily proof of anything, but just check out some of the videos, see what you think. You'll find that there are some that are quite convincing and some that aren't. And then you have a little bit more insight of what's going on. But the story about the Reptilians has been with us for a long, long, long time. We need to pay attention to it because it seems to be very significant to what's going on with us right now. So let's get over to this piece here. This is Alex Collier, and he's talking about Reptilians. Okay, here we go.
Serious problems. I'm not saying that at all. There are some who do. But the bottom line is, when you look at the whole picture and you go up the ladder, okay, we are not the enemy. The enemy isn't human at all. But it's pushing all our buttons so that we're so busy looking at each other and so neurotic about each other that we're not looking at the real reality here, the real cause, which is another race or races that are here who are totally playing games with us, feeding off our energy, and hoping that we destroy ourselves so that they can keep the planet themselves.
And really, let's say who it is again. It's the Orion group.
It's the Orion group. It's a group that is on its way here now from Alpha Draconis. They're the real culprits behind this whole deal.
Alpha Draconis or Orion, or both those two?
Alpha Draconis. They're the real culprits behind this whole thing.
Above the Orion group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
then there's Orion. Then there's Orion, the Orion group. Then you've got the Greys.
And where did the Giza intelligence fit in here?
They were just a group that were totally independent, that came in and did their own thing. They were perceived as gods, and they played the role out. And they got stuck in it. They got stuck in the ego part of it. We're gods, we can do this, we have all this technology, and they just played it out for all that it was worth.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, at this point, they're not really much of a factor anymore. Giza intelligence, they're not much of a factor at all anymore.
What should a human being do if they encounter a renegade Zeta Reticulan? What would your advice be?
Stand in their truth. If you can't run, stand in your truth and just look at them. If they try to project their thoughts into your head, you just stand firm with who you are and you say, no, you are not coming into my head, you are not taking me over, and you are not going to violate my free will. I don't give a damn who you are. Leave me alone. Period. Because if it's a benevolent, they will not try to do it. They will not try to take you over. They will not try to put crap into your head so they can feed off of your fear. Period.
All right. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to skip the Giza intelligence for the moment then, and we'll go to the Alpha Draconis.
Can we take a short time out?
Oh, definitely.
Thank you. Rick, there's something else I want to stress here, and that is, and this is something that the Andromedans have really stressed. There is no race any better than us. Just because they're different, just because they're more evolved, doesn't mean that they're better. We are equal. We're just not maybe as aware as they are, but that doesn't mean that any race is any better or any less. In fact, we're all equal.
So we should not worship anybody?
Hell, no. Absolutely not. That's how we got into this mess in the first place. Right. If you want to worship somebody, worship the God within you. That's it. Worship no one else. And if you're going to have a tyrant in your life, let it be that part of you that's critical of you. Let that be your only tyrant. Don't give anybody else any power outside of your physical form to be a tyrant, to control you, or manipulate you in any way. Be yourself. Because if you are yourself, you're a part of God, and that part of you knows what to do. It knows the right way to live. And, you know, and this is really interesting. Because of our genetic makeup, of the 22 different races, and all of the DNA and the racial memories that we have and the genetics that we have, because of the fact that we are spirit, do you know, and this is an incredible thing, do you know that the Andromedans actually consider us royalty? They consider us royalty. We obviously aren't acting like royalty, but we're the only ones in our galaxy that can make the claim to having the genetics that we have and the possibilities and the capabilities of doing what we can do as a race. We're the only ones. They actually consider every single one of us royalty. Now, think about that.
I guess all beings that would try and be spiritual and raise their spirituality in essence would be royalty. You know?
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the ringleaders then of this whole orchestration that's going here on Earth. According to your Andromedan sources, there are 22 races originally colonized the Earth, the first race being the Reptilians from Alpha Draconis. What was the nature of their colony here?
Well, they're Hyperborean. Basically, they're explorers. And they're also genetic engineers. They would just colonize. They would take samples. They would hang a flag and say, this belongs to us, just like we did with the moon. You know, but except we weren't the first ones there. Exactly what we've done. They were explorers. And they would just go to a place, they would see what was there, they would explore it, if there were minerals that they needed, if there were other life forms, organisms, whatever it was that they needed, they took, and then when it was done, they had enough, they moved on, and just kept exploring and expanding their realm of exploration or territory.
And you said they were dumped here.
Originally,
Right.
Originally they were. They were
Right.
dumped in Alpha Draconis. Nobody knows exactly where they came from, and my understanding is that even in their ancient history, they don't know exactly where they came from. But they were left in Alpha Draconis because that particular system offered them the highest probability of survival. And from there, they were able to create craft, space travel. I mean, they're magnificent in what they did, and they're to be commended for what they did. But the fact that they need to control and dominate and manipulate to the degree, sorry, I have a problem with that. And so does half of the other of the galaxy. That's just the way they are. They're the biggest bully. Nobody can beat them up or wipe them out, so therefore they have no motivation to change. So that's the space they hold. And, you know, the Andromedans actually consider them the ultimate warriors, which says a lot, you know, for whatever reasons.
A lot of bullies end up destroying themselves.
Well, that's something that may possibly need to happen, we hope soon, or I hope soon. You know, because we need to be free. We need to have our shackles that we've been put around us let go of, so that we can really evolve. And you know, we have awesome potential. We really do. We have been, as a race, we have been through so much here. We have so much experiences, you know, and because of our emotions, which is really our strength, which really sets us apart from all the other races out there, even the other human races. You know, we have tremendous capabilities to create things. And, you know, but we need to get clear of what's real and what isn't. You know, we also need to get really clear about being able to create our own future, to create our own reality, and not have somebody say, well, that doesn't work for me, so you're going to have to do this. You know, or play God and ruler over us. You know,
sense of responsibility is
right.
so important in all of this.
It's with any sense of power, with any knowledge, comes responsibility. That's exactly right. And the divine plan is one of freedom, free expression. Free expression, free expression, free expression. It is not one where they want to implant us and they say, you are going to be a worker, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. Sorry, that's not what it's all about. And if anybody tries to force that stuff down your throat, fight it.
Okay, so the Andromedans tell you that the Alpha Draconans are here now, where...
There are 1,833 of them that have been living underground between 100 and 200 miles beneath the surface. They've been here, some of them have been here a long, long time. They have lifespans that are thousands of years. They're carnivorous. They are not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. You know, and we've been told, you shouldn't talk about that. You know, there are, other people say, well, you better not talk about the reptilians. Well, you know, bull. You know, why not? According to the Andromedans, they're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it because people don't want to hear it? That's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why should people want to stay in denial about it?
Now, how are they able to do this? How are they able to? How are they able to? How are they able to do it? How are they able to come up out of this from underground and do it, or do they have?
There are tunneling systems everywhere. They're being helped by the Greys, and also there are groups within the higher echelon that are actually helping them.
All right, that's where I'm going to leave it. There's more to this video. It's another part to it. You can follow the link, check it out. It's available at First Contact Radio. But there you go. That's Alex Collier. See, I told you the aliens weren't coming down to eat us. They're not coming down. The ones who want to do that, they're already here. And those are the ones that we hear that are also shapeshifters, that are involved within the world governments, world banking systems, world leaders. So that's where we have the problem. And by just paying attention to what's going on, we see what our leaders are doing, and we start tying them together with these stories, it starts to make a little bit of sense, kind of like putting a puzzle together. Alright, so there you go. UFO news, that's Alex Collier and Reptilians. I'm going to do more on Alex Collier upcoming. He talks all about Andromeda. He's a contactee from Andromeda, but we'll get more to him in the near future. Anyway, next up, UFO news. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today's UFO News has 4 stories. Story number 1. This comes to us from San Antonio, Texas on the 21st. It says UFO orbs captured on videotape in high altitude over San Antonio, Texas. So the equipment they used was a Sony TRV 138 20x900 zoom with 900mm IR filter. Cluster of UFO orbs were captured interacting high in altitude over San Antonio. As I was skywatching, I cannot believe what I was observing. When zooming in, you can see these glowing orbs. You see them right here. Alright, so very good. So it's a 5.5 minute long video, 5 minutes 25 seconds. But you get the idea of what was up there, right? Okay, links available, you can check it out. Going to move from there to the next story. This takes us to New Jersey. 25th. UFO, glowing UFO seen over New Jersey, okay? And here's our lights, similar like before. Same type of images. These lights were recorded by a woman who was walking along the beach at Long Branch. And notice these glowing lights in the distance. If someone can please let us know if you've seen these lights. I want you to contact them here. There's the light right there. Okay. So again, similar to what we have seen in the other one there. Prior to this, now we're going to go over to Fresno, California. This was on the 26th. Witness reports that was a windy, clear day. Object very high, shiny, bright, changing shape, first appeared from the western direction. Alright. So again, very similar to the other ones. So these group of sightings were picking up here all have similar appearance. Okay, very interesting. And one last piece here for today. This is a compilation video. It's got a lot of information in it. It says now featuring the ultimate UFO archive with over 100 of the best UFO videos ever caught on tape from 16 countries and from orbit by Earth's orbit by NASA and the Russian Space Authority. Set to music with an eclectic and diverse original world beat music soundtrack by the band Warless Society. Each UFO video includes a location, date, time, and name of the person who filmed the UFO. All the videos in this film are presented in the order in which they were filmed and represent the best selection of authentic availables made to public. It's an hour and 33 minutes long. I'm just going to kind of move through here. And you get an idea. There's lots and lots of sightings going back for years. Okay. So this is a great compilation piece if you just want to really kind of spend some time zoning out on all the different sightings that we've had. Check out this link here. Hour and 35 minutes long. Alright. That is our UFO news report for today. But I have a bunch more news of a different topic coming right up. So stay tuned. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
Alright, continuing on. Alright, so we're going to turn our attention to Obama. Now, this isn't intended to pick on him, but he just makes himself such an easy target because, well, first of all, he's the president, and second, he's a liar. And that makes him target for the news and information because I like to point out those that are lying to you. And I know that you like to know when you're being lied to, so it should be a good match, right? So, we know about Obama and his record, background, about the fake background that he has. We don't know anything about him. He said he was going to be the most transparent administration, but it's been anything but transparent. He has spent money after money to make sure that his records are sealed, so you can't really find out who he is. We don't know who this man is. We have a sheriff and the cold case posse department down there in Arizona who've determined through forensic investigation, the same type of investigation that would use to solve any sort of crime that took place in this country. They've determined without a shadow of a doubt that the documents presented on the White House website were a forgery. Somebody has committed fraud. Okay, it goes on and on with this guy. But let me show you something more. That is additional fakeness to this man. He has a Twitter following, but a good chunk of those are fake. Barack Obama has 36.9 million Twitter followers, 19.5 million of whom it turns out are fake. This is a very disturbing sign for Obama's opponents, as it demonstrates just how much appeal the president still has with his key support base, namely those who identify most closely with him on a personal level. Fake people. The Daily Mail online has analyzed the numbers and discovered that among the U.S. political figures, the 4 Twitter accounts with the most fake followers, that is, followers who really don't exist, are those of Barack Obama, by a landslide, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, and the White House Communications Department. Those who would laugh at this off as evidence of a pathetic progressive attempt to manipulate the public perceptions are perhaps missing the point. Americans who care about the downfall of the country ought to be most concerned about the trend indicated here. A hitherto negligible segment of the population, non-existent humans, is found in the President's U.S. administration, a powerful reason to emerge from the shadows at last and become fully engaged participants in the political process. There is no clearer indication of the dangers facing America than this surge in political activity among people who do not exist, especially when one considers that this group vastly outnumbers the existent. And how sad is this, that these are the President, the Vice President, the President's wife, and the White House? How sad is this that they have all of these fake Twitter followers? You know why it is? It's because The real people know the lies that are coming out of the administration. They've put up with it enough. And so because the real people won't buy the lies anymore, they have all these fake Twitter followers who, guess what? The fake followers believe everything Obama says. And then people who are real people, they see the fake followers, and because people like to follow the real people, follow the fake people, and there you have it. And that's what's going on. So we need to pay attention again to make sure you're not following someone who's fake. That's what's happening in this country. That's what's happening with this president. Let me move on, because the story continues. It says here is every precious government shutdown, why they happened and how they ended. Since the modern congressional budgeting process took place in 1976, there have been a total of 17 separate government shutdowns, or spending gaps in Hill jargon. Given that we appear to be headed for another one imminently, let's look back at those experiences, the political circumstances around them, and what happened as a consequence. Most of the specifics are drawn from the Washington Post print archives, which you can access here for a modest sum, and the link's available right there. It is also important to note that not all shutdowns are created equal. Before 1980 and 1981, opinions issued by then Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti, a failure to fund some part of the government didn't necessarily mean that part of the government would stop functioning. Civiletti's opinions interpreted the Anti-Deficiency Act, a law passed in 1884, as a meaning that the failure to pass new spending bills required government functioning to shut down in whole or in part. So the shutdown listed below that happened between 76 and 79 did not always entail an actual stop to government functioning. They were simply funding gaps that didn't have any real world effect. Okay, and you can go through and you can see when they are, and as a list here. And the reason this is significant is because you have the Obama administration, again, peddling fake information that, oh, this has never happened before. Well, too bad he doesn't know history, because if he knew history, he would understand that these things have happened 17 times. Okay, and then he wouldn't spout out such nonsense. But what do you expect from a man who continuously lies to the public about who he is, and about an administration who makes sure you don't know? They don't want you to know. Look, go to Chicago, the Illinois Bar Association website, and you can look up those who are under disciplinary action. You can find out that Barack Obama had surrendered his law license. Now, he did so, the story goes, that he surrendered it about 5 seconds before they were going to take it away. And you know why that would be? Because when he took his exam, the story goes that Barack Obama was asked if he ever used a name other than Barack Obama, and he said no. However, it was discovered that when he was adopted, he took on the name Barry Soetoro. Therefore, it was determined that he lied, and the Bar Association made him turn in his bar card. Okay, he voluntarily did it to make it look better, but that was just a formality because they were going to take it away from him. And then, of course, don't forget, if you look at the same website, you can find his wife also is uplisted there. She's listed there, and the story says that she's listed for insurance fraud. So now we've got this Obamacare going on, and here she is, 50% of the Team Obama, and she was involved with insurance fraud, and her license is gone because of that. Okay? Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that people don't know this. Pretty crazy that people still defend this man and his actions. Pretty crazy that people don't do something about it. But, hey, stupid is as stupid does. Alright, this is one more piece here. It's called Barack Obama's Hidden Past. I'm going to play a portion of this, and then you can go ahead and you can watch the rest on your own.
The Enigma, President Obama. before all of this birth certificate story broke with Donald Trump getting in front of it, and now Charlie Sheen, of course, is in front of it, and I'm not going to compare those two, but they certainly know how to get a rise out of people, and they're interesting enough so that the media has to pay attention to them. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the birth certificate because, frankly, I don't have a lot of evidence one way or another, and I know the difference between an absence of evidence and evidence of absence. But when we come back from the break, I am going to lay out for you the history of Barack Obama, not as my speculation, not as some weird kind of, conspiracy theory. I'm going to lay out this man's history and his parents' history, where he lived, who he met, all of these things. And I'm going to do it based on reports from the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, the Washington Post, and Barack Obama's own writing, especially his own writing. When you see all these things in one place, you go, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding you. I wish I was kidding you. The whole country's starting to feel like a giant April Fool's joke. Let's get to this business of who this man is. And we certainly could do weeks and weeks and weeks of this on the air. And to be honest with you, I want to spend not so much time talking about Barack Obama even. I just want to spend a little time talking about his family, talking about the people that made him who he is. His own history is, of course, just remarkably complex and convoluted and filled with so many smoking guns that it just looks like a firing range on 4th of July at some major shooting gallery. It's just more smoke there than you know what to do with. But even the background of this guy's history is really, really, really interesting. So let me just give you a couple things, just as a general rule, a sort of a tease, because we're going to be doing a segment. I have a channel you might be interested in called the Bill Whittle channel on YouTube. I do a series called Firewalls. I did one called Eat the Rich, which did a lot of attention. It's about 350,000 about our spending. And we're going to do a 3-parter on the history of Barack Obama. So let's start for a minute. Let's just start, again, with the factual history of this man, and we're going to source everything on those videos. First thing you might be interested to know about the President of the United States is that he comes from a long family of oilmen. Yeah, that sound you hear is the sound of crickets chirping out in the parking lot. Yes, oilman. He comes from oilmen. Barack Obama's grandfather, the man who raised him, he was a wildcatter on oil rigs in Kansas and Standard Oil Company during the Depression. The president's biological father, Barack Obama Sr., he worked for an oil company, and so did his stepfather, Lolo Soetoro. They all worked for oil companies. He's a descendant from oilman. Oh, golly, here we go. The president has a grandfather, a maternal grandfather. That'd be his mother's father. His name was Stanley Dunham. He had a tough childhood. When he was 8 years old, he came home and discovered his mother had committed suicide right in front of him. He found the body. Barack Obama's grandfather, the man who raised him, found the body of his mother after his suicide. He was 8 years old. I get the feeling that would probably have an effect on you. I know it would have an effect on me. His grandfather, Stanley, had been a fighter throughout all high school. He's acting out, of course, as you would if you had that kind of tragedy occur to you. Barack Obama, this is Barack Obama in his own words in Dreams from my father says, by the age of 15, he'd been thrown out of high school for punching the principal in the nose. My dad never punched any principals in the nose, and I don't know if your dad did, but I find that interesting. Stanley Dunham, that'd be the president's maternal grandfather, married Madeline Lee Payne in 1940, and in 1942, they had a son. Now, the president's grandfather really, really, really wanted a boy, but he didn't have a boy. He had a girl, the president's mother, and so he named her Stanley. President Obama's mother's legal name is Stanley, and if you don't think that bothered her, you got another thing coming. Stanley, president's mom, had a childhood friend named Elaine Johnson, and she said, I know it's a boy's name. Elaine Johnson talking about Stanley. I know it's a boy's name, and no, I don't like it. I mean, would you like to be named Stanley? But my dad wanted a boy, and he got me. And I guess the name Stanley made him feel better, I guess. So here's a woman who's got a chip on her shoulder her entire life. Now, I have to compress the story here a lot because I don't want to just read to you.
All right. That's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for you. Okay, we're getting interesting here. I want to keep moving on. Let me just throw out a couple other things. Okay, a couple other things we're at it. Let's not forget Luke chapter 10, verse 18. We can take an Aramaic translation. Jesus said he's beheld Satan as lightning from the heights. Aramaic translation, and I know people say, oh, this isn't correct, but there's one translation out there you can take directly from English to Aramaic where that lightning from the heights translates to Barack Obama. Right? In the Bible code, the most significant passage, Obama's name is found in there, in the most significant passage to the Antichrist. When he was elected in his home state, the winning lottery numbers were 666. Barack Obama's security team referred to him as the renegade. one of the names that is assigned to the Antichrist. Another one is the beast, and what does Obama call his vehicles? The beast. So we have this man who goes by the renegade, one of the names of the Antichrist, rides around in the beast, had winning lottery numbers of 666 in his home state, appears in the most significant passage about the Antichrist, and coincidentally enough was named by Jesus in an Aramaic translation. Now, you may think that, oh, well, these are just all random occurrences. Are they? These are 5 different puzzle pieces that kind of fit together. And when you look at them, it certainly doesn't seem to make sense. Now, whether or not he is the actual Antichrist, time will tell. But he certainly seems willing to play the role and to play it to the hilt. And the activities he's taking seem to fall right in line with what the Antichrist is all about. As we're reading the book of Revelation, you're getting the story right there. So, don't be fooled. We're in an important time. A spiritual battle is going on. A spiritual battle. This isn't a physical battle. This is a spiritual battle. Something more than meets the eye with this man. You know it. I know it. Many still don't know, but they better wake up quick because they're going to get fooled. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are going to be betrayed by this man, and it's going to break their hearts. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you, and I'm sorry that that is going to happen. But you're going to have to put on, your big boy and big girl britches, and you're going to have to just face the reality. That's where we're at. That's what we've allowed, and we need to change it. Okay? We're being railroaded here by those, and it's been for a long while. It's not just this administration. It was the one before. We know how bad Bush was, related to Nazis and, funding Hitler and his history and so on, and it goes on and on. So we've got a problem. It keeps escalating. Unless we look at this, we're just going to keep having more of the same problems. All right, here's an article talks about underwater pyramid discovered in the Atlantic. Says that researchers have discovered an underwater pyramid 60 meters high and 800 meters square at the base of Bank de Jojo de Castro between the islands of Tesseria and San Miguel. The structure was identified by the sailor Delio Silanio Smith based on the bathymetry readings. And if you go over, it says the author does not believe that the pyramid is of natural origin. The government says that the matter is already being investigated with the support of the Portuguese Navy. And here's a video here. It's 3 minutes in the link. Kind of gives you an idea where it is. And it shows you some nice little maps here. Alright, so check this out. See what you think. Is this... Alright. So there you go. And let me move on from there. So, islands that we're finding. We're living in some really interesting times, aren't we? Very interesting. Okay, Book of Revelation. Today we're up to chapter 20, so let's get to it. Chapter 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received the mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, or had lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and he shall go out to deceive the nations which are the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is and as the sand of the sea. And they went up to the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and beloved city. And the fire came down from God out of the heavens, and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day after and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat upon it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to thy works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell came into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and whoever so was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. All right, that is Revelation 20. So we're going to finish the rest of it next week. I want to give you a little summary of what we've done this week, and then next week we're going to do a good review of the book of Revelation now that we've gone through the whole book. But I've got this same page up here. This gives us the outline. And so this week we went from chapter 15 or 16 through 20. So we were down in this area here, right? And what we became introduced to in these chapters were the 7 bowls, which had the vials and all of the plagues and things. The plagues were ugly and painful sores, Dead Sea turns to blood, rivers and springs of water become blood. The sun scorches people with fire, darkness, Euphrates River dries up, tremendous earthquake. And then the fall of the whore of Babylon. We learned more about her as it was described, the fall, but how yet there's still this continual belief or praise that does go on, even though that things have fallen. People don't really learn their lessons, so they keep going and doing the same silly things. And then we've got here the promise. Okay, the promise is the important part, that evil is overcome, that Jesus Christ and all of his team are coming here to kick a little butt, and they're going to kick out the bad guys. And if you continue to read and are aware of the prophecies, of the stories, it's all basically saying the same thing. The righteous and the elect are going to be okay. This isn't about the righteous and the elect being removed or condemned. This is about the wicked and the ungodly being removed. Just imagine the world if we didn't have those wicked and ungodly beings around us that were misguiding us, that were lying to us all the time. Just imagine how clearer we would think and what we might accomplish in life. Just imagine if all these years we've been fighting wars, instead of fighting wars, we had actually put that money towards creating things instead. Imagine how far we'd be advanced right now. See, we've got some bad mindsets here. And as you recall from the article yesterday, there's a small minority, a very small minority, that are causing the problems. In the United States, it was boiled down to 545 individuals. Congress, the president, the vice president, and the members of the Supreme Court. And they are making decisions that are hurting. So we've got some real situations that are going on. We have small minorities causing problems. But the promise here of all of this is that the badness is going to go away. That there's help coming to remove the badness. Okay? The praise for the wedding of the Lamb, the return of the Christ, 1,000 years that Satan is cast away. All right? And then finally we're going to hear more next week about the big conclusion. Everything wraps up, the big happy ending. And that's kind of what this is. If you think of any mythological story that's out there, this is basically the journey of the hero. And you go through the trials and the tribulations and all of the challenges and the dark night of the soul, but in the end, good wins. And that's the important part. So let's just keep faithful on that and know that no matter what's going on, We're going to overcome. We just have to keep believing. Believing in ourselves, believe in each other, and certainly believe in God. All right. Here we have a message today from the Andromedans. We'll do this, and then we'll get to our meditation. Here we go.
Andromedan message to the peoples of planet Earth.
September 26, 2013, by Karen Doonan. Greetings, beloved ones. We are the Andromedans, and we come to support and to guide at a time where all are now beginning to remember why they have incarnated upon this planet. The Andromedan Council now connect at deeper and expanded levels with all who have incarnated from our planetary system. The light coatings needed by our children in human form are being sent out across the dimensional timelines, allowing for more knowledge to be downloaded into the human vehicle. This process will see many more of our children begin to wake to their prime directive at this time. We stand ready to support and to guide further at both public and very personal level. We ask for all our children to breathe and to be, and to allow the dissolving of the old earth frequencies in truth. For all that remains is truth, and truth is why you have incarnated into human form upon this planet in this dimensional reality. We place the dragon's mouth before you and ask that you see beyond the teeth and the jaws and remember this ancient symbol from our culture. We place the Chinese symbol of the yin-yang and ask for all to understand the balance of all at this time. We ask for our children to understand the need to find balance within the human vehicle at a time where they are shifting akin to the sands of time, both within their human vehicles and also at soul level, for as the human race now begin their ascension process in truth, all begin to ascend once more, for all are one and all just is. We send out the frequency of gold and ask all to ingest and to anchor fully this frequency, for this is the frequency of the new golden age of humankind in truth. Mother Earth now begins her climb in vibration to allow those who are here to walk the earth in non-human form the ability and access to the portals to begin this work in truth. Many are incarnate into human form and at this time are now understanding their purpose and their position in the Galactic Federation of Light and Truth, for all is not as it appears to the human race at this time. Vast energetic upgrades will see many who had anchored their human form well into the planet's surface begin to stir from their sleep and fully understand their role and purpose within the overall ascension process of an entire universe in truth. We ask for all to open their hearts at this time. The logical mind may go into overdrive trying to find the route to peace, but peace is birthed from the love that is that flows from the heart space, beloved ones. Let peace and the love that is flow through you, around you and within you, for you are peace in truth. Events that were predicted will now begin to anchor for all just as and you are. The ability to accept your stellar origins will now increase, expand and grow, for the energetic signature of Mother Earth is now heightening in preparation for the birth of the dreams of the human race in truth. Understand, beloved ones, that dreams are born through you, they are not created for you. That which makes the heart space come alive is truth, beloved ones. Dare to dream and dream to dare, for all is now in truth. The outpouring of emotions across and within the human race is now fully underway, for only in emptying the heart space can it be refilled with the love that is in truth. Allow all to dissolve and then wipe away the tears, beloved ones, for the new world that is within your dreams will reveal itself to you in Technicolor. We are the Andromedans, and we will connect with our children in their dream time, for all is now dissolving and all is now birthing, for the foundations of the love that is are fertile. These foundations will see many changes to the outer reality that is called the human life experience, and the ripples of this will be felt by all upon and within planet Earth. Be at peace, beloved ones, for now is the birth of your dreams in truth.
Alright, very nice, very nice, very nice. And our angel message for today. Click on the angel. The message is, never fear that you are not good enough. There is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do, think, or say that would turn us away from you. It's pretty good, you know. Humankind thinks and gets concerned sometimes that they're unforgivable for the things that they've done. That's not true. There's a great amount of compassion out there in the universe. Great amount of compassion, and once we come to understand that, it makes a big, big difference in the world. Big difference. Alright, so we're going to get to our meditation for today here. And let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Alright, activate all of your chakras. Bottom of the spine, drawing that energy from the earth into the root chakra. Imagine the color red. See that energy rise up higher, just below the belly button, right in that area there. Imagine the color orange. A little bit higher, just below the rib cage in the solar plexus area. Imagine the color yellow. See the light continue higher into the chest area. Imagine the color green as the green chakra is activated. From there to the throat, imagine the color blue. From the throat chakra, the light continues on up to the third eye. Imagine the color indigo. And finally to the crown chakra, violet is the color, and then light continues on as bright white light into the cosmos. Take a moment just to feel your connection to all that is, was, and ever shall be. Feel this energy as it fills your body. And then allow this energy to slowly overfill, spill over into the room in the area you live. And as we go through the day, we can practice with this bubble of protection around ourselves. It's a very real thing, and the more we practice, the better we get at it. Now we want to imagine the earth. And we want to take some efforts to show the earth that we're here to support the earth. And the best way we can do that is to assist with some of these changes that are taking place. Because the earth is going through growing pains as we go through this transition. So wherever you are, in whatever country you're in at this moment, I want you to imagine your country. And I want you to imagine tracing an outline around that country. And the outline is an outline of light. And as you draw this outline around your country, I want you to see that light going down into the ground, miles and miles and miles below the surface, going down and forming girders of light that help support the planet, support the earth. And now once you have this outline drawn, I want you to imagine that light filling in inside the lines, so the whole country is filled with light, and send that light down into the planet, miles and miles down, and see this as a solid structure that is going down and providing support. And imagine, deep below the country you're in, there is this foundation of light. And imagine this foundation of light beneath every country around the world. And now let's extend this light from down in the planet. Let's extend it up above the planet, out into the cosmos, as a beacon to those in space, our brothers and sisters, to let them know that we are assisting the planet. We are doing what we can to participate in the process of change. And now imagine from your heart chakra, the color green just begins to flow out of you in all directions, and just encircles the entire globe with love. And imagine this love being sent down and absorbed into the earth. And imagine this love up into the cosmos. And between the light and the love that is being sent out, we feel the earth smiling at us. We feel our space brothers and sisters smiling down upon us. We feel strengthened and encouraged, and we feel God smiling as well. Because we are standing in our power, in our own divinity, fulfilling the destiny with which we are here to fulfill. So as the subconscious mind continues on its journey today, let's just keep sending out love today, tomorrow, and every day. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. But as we bring the conscious mind, let's also consciously be focused on love as we go into the course of this weekend, to the rest of this day and the weekend and every day. So 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. And exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. There you have it. That's it, my friends. Thank you very much. Listen, I have one final word I want to put out before I go for today. We've heard a lot of stories about changes that are taking place to this planet. We've heard the stories about Ison and about the 1st of October it's going to be passing by. We hear these stories of people having dreams of some major earthquakes and disasters, not only in the States but around the world, and tsunamis and stuff. I don't know what's going to happen. But let's just keep sending the light and the love out, so whatever it does helps to alleviate the situation. And if something does happen to happen, stay calm. Stay as calm as you can during that time and just keep focused on love. Turn your attention to the Creator. Because in situations that could occur, we know that people become fearful. But by sending out love, we can help to counteract that fear. And that's the best thing I could say. Hopefully nothing's going to happen, and we're going to be okay. But just in the event that something does, just remain calm. Calm as possible, and we'll move through the situation in the best and smoothest and quickest way we can. Alright? You have an awesome weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more news and information. Be safe. I love you. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here. Contact Radio, we have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.